In 2019, I lost my job, diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. I was laying on the couch. I wasn't working. I was depressed. I was hopeless. I have tried everything imaginable to lose weight, and I was hopeless. I was grasping for anything at that point. I figured I've got to do something. So I'm either going to change how I am and go forward, or I'm done with existing. And so I came to it April the 17th of 2022. Overnight changed my life. That's the day that I came to Carnivore. I knew that it was what I needed because I felt so drastically different.
Hey carnivores, SB fam, welcome back to the channel. It's me, Bella the Steak and Butter Gal. Firstly, happy October. I hope you all are having a wonderful start to your month. Drop an update down below in the comments and let me know how you all are doing on your carnivore journey so far. Today's video features another awe-inspiring carnivore success story. Shawn White, also known as the intentional carnivore, is all about advocating for taking care of our mental health. He's going to be one of the guest speakers in my next carnivore challenge. In addition to Shawn, I'll also be bringing on Dr. Philip Boveda, Dr. Anthony Chafee, Dr. Tony Hampton, Rebecca Heischman, and Dr. Sean O'Mara. For more details, just go to the URL shown on the screen, sbgmeetup.com, or click the links down below in the description box. Hi guys, welcome. How are you?
Hey, how are you? Thanks for having me.
Why are you called the intentional carnivore?
Absolutely. Like I said, thank you for having me. It's an honor to be able to speak with all three of you guys. And you guys are doing great work as well. And I'm honored to be here today. So intentional carnivore basically came from a religious message that I was listening to. I try to represent who I am openly and honestly to people. I know that many people believe different things, but in my faith, I feel like if I represent what I am trying to live by loving people and setting an example for other people, then that'll open an opportunity for me to be able to share that with them. And then they get to make the decision on whether they want it or whether they don't. Being real about who you are is one of the most important life-changing things that we can do. Getting honest with ourselves, stuff like that.
Yes.
And in my, religion and my faith, in relationship, I call it relationship more than religion. I see that when I look in the scriptures that Jesus was intentional about everything that he did. And if I say that he lives in me, that means that I have to be intentional as well. And so that's kind of where the name came from. That's what I kind of try to live out and try to show love to people. And that's kind of the background for it.
That's beautiful. I love that you had your kind of handle name be something that embodies you. So
Yes.
Now we understand the intentional part. Let's get to the carnivore part. How did your carnivore journey begin?
Absolutely. That's an even wilder story. Listen, so I spent most of my life, like most other people, just being unhealthy, making poor decisions. I worked in EMS for 12 years. So, I knew health. I knew how the body worked, but I had made a lot of poor decisions. 2019, I lost my job, got, into some even worse health, depression, and many other things, diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. I was laying on the couch. I wasn't working. I was depressed. I was hopeless. The only thing I would really be able to do, or had the motivation, so to speak, to do, was just lay there and watch YouTube videos and TV and play video, just video games and things like that. And I would listen to Joe Rogan, like 17 million other people on the planet.
Yeah.
And one day he was doing an interview with Rhonda Patrick, which is definitely not a carnivore advocate. Right. But the discussion, and anybody who watches Joe knows that, he comes at it from basically a neutral perspective and get the objective answers about things. But it made me curious enough to find out more. And
Nice.
So I stumbled out of there into this crazy doctor named Ken Berry. And I thought he was even more crazy than the rest of them. He's a physician. He should definitely know better. And I just listened to this man speak so clearly and so take such hard concepts medically and make them so simple. And on top of that, he wasn't trying to sell me anything or get me to take shots and all these elusive things that I definitely couldn't afford. He wasn't saying that I had to go out here at almost 500 pounds and run a marathon to get this. Right. He's like, look, if you will just start with this 60 to 90 days of, beef, butter, bacon, eggs. If you can just eat keto, start there. I knew that it was what I needed because I felt so drastically different. And so I came to it April the 17th of 2022, grabbed a hold of it, and overnight changed my life. Like my whole outlook on things from that day forward changed in more than one area. But that's the day that I came to carnivore.
You did, respectfully pay homage to the people that inspired you to do this. And I feel like we don't do that enough. So let's actually share who inspired us to go carnivore. So Shawn said Joe Rogan, Dr. Barry. How about you, Raymond?
For me, it was Joe and Charlene Anderson. And of course, there's the Kelly Hogan and Dr. Baker.
Yep. Emily?
Dr. Baker, and actually for me, my friend who did it, my personal friend who did it,
Nice.
Tiffany Henschel, and she had a Facebook account and journaled her journey through it. And then through her, I read Dr. Baker's book. It can make all the difference in people's lives.
Michaela Peterson is always
Yes,
great.
Yeah.
The Petersons, but the names that we just threw out now, if you're new to carnivore, go watch their content. So you're now just a little over 1 year carnivore, right?
So a year and 4 months. That's correct. Yeah.
Awesome. This is like the sweet spot where I can ask a lot of in-between questions. You were 457 pounds. Is that correct?
At least 457. I didn't have scales at the time. I went to the doctor and he had the big, industrial scales. My scales at home only read error. Like there was at least 457.
What is your weight now?
I weigh 188 pounds today.
Wow, that's a huge difference. That's amazing.
Insane. Yeah. Well, that amount of weight loss must have brought a lot of changes in how you view yourself. How did that kind of affect you, seeing your weight drop so quickly and dramatically?
I'll be honest with you. It's astonishing. It's surreal. It oftentimes, like I will walk past the mirror in my bedroom and just stop sometime and look sideways and wonder who's looking at me.
Who's there? Yeah.
Because and even in my mind, knowing I've lost 269 pounds, it doesn't make sense how it can happen like it happened. And you're almost it's almost like this can't be real. I have tried everything imaginable to lose weight and fix health issues. It makes me that much more thankful for so many different areas because of those who helped me to achieve something that I spent 25 years of my life trying to do and not being successful at it. So absolutely that. And it's not even the best thing.
What is the best thing?
I have to emphasize every single time that I talk with somebody about the weight loss, because it is so amazing and I am so thankful for it.
Yeah.
But the mental health that I suffered, being captivated and imprisoned in my own mind for 3 years to where I could barely get off the couch and walk to the bathroom, not being able to function with my family, to be a dad, to be a husband, to be a son, to be a brother, to be a friend, to be an employee. All those things were impossible. Not that I was too lazy to do them. I've worked at least 2 jobs nearly my whole life. I have no problem working and do now. At least. However, I couldn't make myself do the things that I knew that I needed to do. I couldn't find the motivation to stay awake long enough to think about how to fix my problems. It was just a depressive spiral out of control that had reached a point of no return, I thought, in my mind. And so the depression, the anxiety, along with the other type 2 diabetes, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, the gout, the blood pressure, getting off the medications, the sleep apnea, all those things. I would trade the weight loss for the depression being gone. If I was still back at the overweight at the 400 pounds, I would be working my tail off right now trying to get to where I wanted to be. but not being entangled and entrapped and feeling that pressure of depression closing in on you and not caring whether you wake up in the morning, to have that alleviated is worth every bit of the rest of it. I didn't even know that Carnivore could fix that. I thought it was literally just, well, weight's one of my issues that I need fixed. It can make you mobile again. I figured the least I could do is go at least try to get in a condition to where I could go back and work as a medic or do something to support my wife and kids, because they didn't get me in this situation and they definitely don't deserve me to stay in this situation. I've got to do something. So I'm either going to change how I am and go forward, or I'm done with existing. I just remember after about a month and a half, right in that time frame, I was like, I've gone 2 or 3 days now and I don't want to end my life anymore. I don't want to just lay on the couch anymore. Like, that is amazing to go a couple of days when every single moment of your life for the last 3 years, you've been trying to find an explanation to be able to tell your wife and your kids that you don't want to be here anymore, that you not on earth anymore, you know? So it was gradual over that first month and a half. And then I realized that. And then not long after that, about a week or so after that's when the energy started coming in. And I was like, man, I got to get outside. And like, I would go sit in the sun. My wife used to beg me to sit on the porch and on the swing with her. And I would just lay on the couch and sleep, because I hated the light. Don't turn the lights on. Let's stay in the dark. All those things. And I don't know, you know, who has experienced it, that situation, but it's all encompassing, and it just melts its way down through every crevice in every area of your life. And it just takes you to a place, it takes you further than you ever desired to go. Nobody would ever desire to go there, but it will take you much further than you think it can take you as well.
Keeps sucking you in. It sucks harder and harder. The deeper you go, it gets darker and darker. And so within a month and a half, you noticed that was starting to shift.
Yes. I had failed so many times. I had that track record of failure, and I would let those thoughts creep into my mind. But I'm like, I'm not that person anymore. I would go online and listen to David Goggins.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you know who Goggins is.
Sure.
That dude is a freaking beast.
Yeah.
I even sent him an email. I don't know if he got it or not, but I did. I am huge on when somebody helps me in life, I feel like it's my obligation to return the favor. The least I can do is say thank you. I am a very appreciative person. And, you know, and even more so when you come from a place where you don't care about living anymore, I feel like it's like you can't take any more away from me than where I wished I was a year ago. And so I'm extremely thankful. And you know, and I digress. I'm going to ramble here, but you know,
Love it.
But absolutely. Yeah. David, I would go listen to David Goggins and he would say, you got to talk to yourself. You don't know me, you know? And I was like, yeah, he's like, you got to get your mind right. And that is my big thing now. And I look at everything the same way. I try to focus, like, quit making excuses for your situation. You got you here and you can get you out. Now, obviously, I'm a man of faith. I pray about it, my issues. I feel like I get strength from on high. But you made that decision. God didn't make that decision for you. You made that decision. That's what I would tell myself. Nobody's coming to save you. You have to get honest with yourself and take the first step and take the second step. And it might be a crawl. It might not even be a step. But that's the point I just kept reiterating to myself.
Stay hard.
Yeah, stay hard. That's right.
Stay hard.
Is that what he says? Stay hard?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what he likes to say that.
It's on that mental piece. And you tied cravings to mental health, to personal responsibility, and they all looped together. That was what's beautiful, because we get asked all the time, what do I do with cravings? And I like what you just said. Then it's time for the mental piece to come in big time and take responsibility at that moment, because people feel helpless about cravings, and you chose a different path about what to do when those cravings hit.
And to be honest, so just to let you know, before I did not know the answer. Part of this is knowing the answer. And when you found carnivore, I believe that's where, for me anyways, because I related to a lot of things you said. I was the type that, after work, that was all I could do is get on the couch. That's it. Whether it's play video games or whether it's watch things until it's time for bed. And it's always a miserable time for bed because I couldn't sleep because my nose was all clogged up and sleep apnea issues, It changed the game when you start feeling better. Then all of a sudden, not only the clouds start lifting, that darkness start lifting, you start feeling those possibilities. And just with that possibility, because it's like it all starts in the mind. You think it's the mind, but the body's actually getting healed. So your mind starts like, hey, all of a sudden you start visualizing other possibilities you can do. And then intention comes in. Then once intention comes in, you actually put in the actual work. And that's how it gradually started for me. And I loved your description because it feels a lot like what I went through, but it was for physical pain, not mental pain. And really when starting carnivore, the pain was still there, but a lot more manageable. So even the dark clouds that I would get when I had them, like the depression and all that, they were there. It just weren't as intense, if that makes sense. I love the way you describe it because apparently it's fresh in your mind. For me, it's, 6 years earlier. So it's nice to hear it from you.
Honestly, man, the more I talk with different people who are going through these struggles that where we were, I'm starting to see it, we all start from different places, but the struggle to get to where we all want to go is the same process, no matter what. Like, it doesn't matter where we start. You started where you started and it looked a little differently, but the process was kind of the same. Hardships prepare ordinary people for extraordinary destinies. I wrote that down because like making that decision to get honest with ourselves and speak to ourselves in our situation, that's huge, man.
Shawn's advocacy of taking care of our mental health is so incredibly important. If you are struggling with your mental health, I welcome you all to join my community, the Steak and Butter Gang. I run monthly 30-day carnivore challenges, but I also open my online carnivore forum for free. If you would like to explore my free forum to learn more about this lifestyle and to connect with fellow members, you can email me at the email shown on the screen and just send me a heart emoji and I will send you a free invite link to join the Steak and Butter Gang forum. If you know that you need guidance, you can sign up for my next carnivore challenge by going to the URL shown on the screen, sbgmeetup.com, or you can just click the links down below in the description box. If you're new to the carnivore diet and you are experiencing any symptoms like the following: low energy or headaches, muscle cramping, lower endurance in the gym, it is likely an electrolyte imbalance. The best way to combat this is to just up the high quality salts. If you already have Redmond's Real Salt, salt a little bit heavier. If that doesn't work, then it may be time to just invest in a high quality electrolyte supplement like this. This is the brand Element, and I always recommend this one. Specifically this box right here. This teal blue one is called Raw and Flavored. I like this one the most because there is no stevia, no flavorings, no additives. Each of the little packets look like this. Very easy to just throw in your bag on the go. You rip it open, pour it in your beverage of choice, stir it up, drink it down, and you are good to go. You all can get a free sample pack like this one, which includes the raw unflavored, with any purchase. If you go to the URL shown on the screen, drinklmnt.com/SBGAL. And I've also linked it down below in the description box.
I have a 30-second video. I never planned on starting a YouTube channel. Like YouTube, I love it. I think it's great. It's not my main focus and it's not my priority. It's literally just I can reach a bigger audience and share what has changed my life. But last year in September, I put a 30-second little clip onto my YouTube because I was getting a new phone and I didn't want to lose the video. But around the time that the mental health for me cleared up and the energy kicked in, I made a walking video, and you can link it, use it. I don't care. I'm out here doing my challenge this morning. Do a little walking up and down the street. As you guys can see, I didn't feel like doing it. Didn't really want to do it. It had the motivation to do it. But motivation follows action every time. It's about a 30-second clip for a challenge of me walking at 400 and something pounds. And it was for the group. I never planned on anybody seeing that video. And if I had known then that people would be seeing it, I probably wouldn't have posted it.
Right.
However, I made two things that I still use today. Keep pushing forward came from that time period. And motivation follows action every single time. And those are that's two shirts that I created, not because I'm trying to sell shirts. I don't care if you buy my shirts, don't buy them. They're pricey. You know what I'm saying? But they mean something to me, and they represent a time period where I developed that mental determination and vigor and consistency and determination. You'll find that motivation follows action. You put the steps in, you're gonna find motivation through what you're experiencing.
So you're saying action for you was switching the diet, eating meat only. And then after doing that one action, the motivation appeared.
Absolutely. I had no motivation or determination. I was hopeless. I couldn't see a direction. Yep. And so it took whatever that was, that baby step, that crawl, that mental change. And at the time, I was specifically referring to the walking, because I couldn't stand for longer than 30 seconds, right? Because if I would start getting numb from about my sciatic nerve area down the backs of my legs. And if I didn't sit down when that started happening, I would fall down. I say it's like one of those tipping goats. You know, have you seen the goats that just fall over when they go to sleep? That's what I compare it to now. Like I was that big, and that whatever problem I was having, I would start going numb and I would fall. And so I couldn't walk. I couldn't walk, get out and walk a treadmill. I started walking from the couch in my living room and touching the door of my daughter's bedroom, which is the furthest room from the living room. And then the next step was walking to the church. And that video, that 30-second clip, is a video of me walking to the stop sign, which is a quarter of a mile away from my house, for the first time. And that was the mental place I was at. And you can see it all over my face, the changes.
Wow. Well, I did want to kind of open up on, all right, let's talk about the action part. When it comes to somebody who's new, who does want to either change their mental health like Shawn, or change their physical health like Raymond, the action itself is so daunting to so many people who even think about or look at the carnivore diet because of how controversial it is. So what I love about Emily and how she's so warm and welcoming when newbies approach her is she always says, your issues, your depression, your physical pain, whatever it is, it's not your fault. It is not your fault that you are suffering, you know? So if you can just embrace that this is an experiment and totally a self-discovery journey, you should just be curious. Now I'm quoting Raymond. Raymond loves to say, just be curious, you know? I love how they bring carnivore to the table to our newbies. How did you like, concrete detail wise, how did you start carnivore diet? What did you eat? What did you choose to eat, not to eat? And were there any tips and tricks that you implemented that really changed the game for you as a newbie carnivore?
That's one of the most appealing things to carnivore that I was told when I first started. It was eat as much as you want, whenever you want. You don't have to limit your portions. I started out eating when I was hungry, trying to change my relationship with food, period. Like I would eat 3 times a day. I would eat ground beef. I would eat steak. I would eat shrimp. I would eat salmon. I would eat tuna out of a can. I would eat chicken out of a can. If it had a face or a mama, I would eat it like that. That's what I would do. You know, that's what I was told I would do. I wasn't worried about counting things because I didn't have to count anything. I wasn't worried about all these different formulas and math wasn't mathing for me. You know, so like that wasn't for me. And if I had to do all that, who knows if I would have attempted it. Who knows? But for me, it was eat 3 times a day or 4 times a day if you want. And so I would eat till I was full, and just make sure it was meat. And in October, when I did it, the very first 30 days, I was still using sauces because I hadn't been educated enough to know better and think about, wow, this sauce has a whole bunch of sugar in it. You probably don't want to have that. Or this spice has oxalates in it. You probably don't want that. However, it still had an effect on me based on the way I was eating before. It was huge. But in April, when I started, it was literally, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it right, because I had been watching videos up until that point, you know. I had been learning and educating myself because of the change that I could feel during that time. So, like I said, it was hamburger fish. It was strict. Nothing but carnivore till I was full. Then after a short period of time, I started realizing I am not hungry at night. This 3 meals a day thing is not going to work.
Nice.
It's got to slow down a little bit. Like, I'm going to make myself sick trying to eat this food. So I cut it back to 2 meals a day. I'm not hungry. Why force myself, right?
Exactly.
I had, so I slowed down. And then I started hearing in the community, I can't even tell you where, people were always talking about fasting and intermittent fasting and stuff like that. And I'm like, well, I'll try that. Whatever, I feel pretty good. If it doesn't work, I'll just go back to what I was doing, know? And so I started on I think it was a 16-8 or something like that, intermittent fasting. And I had this little thing on my phone, and it became a challenge to me. And I would hit the little button and I would fast, and when my window popped up, I would hit the little button and try to get the time in the green, and bam, I'm good to go. And after so long, I didn't have to use the app anymore. It was just a natural thing for me. It was just, and still even is to today, if I'm honest with you. And so the way I've done it, I've experimented with different things, but I still eat 2 meals a day. And I switched to beef, butter, bacon, and eggs after about 3 months. And I found that I slack on the bacon because, for whatever reason, I don't like bacon as much as I used to. However, I found where I thrive at for my body to feel good. I'll try other things from time to time, but I always end up coming back to eating ribeyes without the fat trimmed off of them, a good bit of butter, and eggs. We had an egg challenge. I ate 24 eggs in 20 minutes last night, and it was amazing.
Wow.
Nice. That is awesome.
Wow. You can put it away.
Yeah, you can.
It was awesome. I'm eating like crazy now.
I love how
Beautiful.
intuitive, you kind of gave us a little carnivore 101 there of how Shawn did it and went about it. And it's so intuitive, but it's a common path. Everything that you're talking about, these were not difficult things that you had to force and read a formula and do a certain thing. This happened very naturally. You just had to mind kind of like your focus and your compliance to eat the carnivore foods. That's right. It was your mindset. The rest of it just intuitively lined up, and it actually a way that we actually teach people how to do it exactly as you outlined. If they're having trouble with wanting the specifics of it, we kind of specifically help them out with that. But I love how your journey just went there absolutely naturally.
And that's what gives me hope. That's what gives me hope for the journey and my goal now. My goal now is to see other people get it, and I'm extremely confident that there's many people out there who will get it, because it's not rocket science. It's not special, and there's nothing special about what I did. It's amazing. Don't get me wrong. I'm thankful, and it's amazing. Now, are you going to lose 269 pounds in a year? I don't know. Maybe I did. Maybe you can. Maybe not. I don't know. The point is, there's that possibility, and there is hope for you. No matter where you're at, no matter what your issue is, there's hope for you where you are to get to that goal. And this is by far the absolute most amazing thing that I've ever experienced. And I feel better than I have, that I can remember. I'll never remember a time feeling like I feel now. And I'm so hopeful in seeing all the people who are getting it now and those that are to come.
And you are enjoying your food, I'm assuming, this whole time, right?
Come on, dude. Who doesn't like a ribeye steak and eggs?
That's it. That's it. Yeah. So that's the best part, is that it makes it a little bit easier even to see it as a lifestyle, because you're actually enjoying yourself. This is a great way. And I love how you got introduced to fasting the way where, we encourage it, is like, stuff yourself. I mean, eat carnivore foods until you just can't. And then you obviously went to that point. And normally, you hear about keto people that are trying to do the 16-8 and they're struggling. Meanwhile, it's like, oh, that's like normal eating, right? Isn't that wonderful, right? So
it's amazing.
Yeah, the benefits that you get out of that, and of course the fasting and carnivore mainly, but it leads you to the other. And I love how you did that. Now, I am curious though, what have you started studying about fasting, and what do you feel about fasting?
About the longest that I fasted is 36 hours.
Got it.
And so I haven't done anything like extensive, extended fasting or anything like that. Once I found that sweet spot, I felt so good, and I had been so miserable that I was like, if this is carnivore, let it go. I'm never letting go of this.
I love it.
I'm not letting go. I'm holding on to this with both hands, because it's given me the potential to not just exist in this life, but to thrive in this life and be optimal in this life again. And that, to me, that was like, it might get better, but if I change something and it messes up, like, I want to stay here. I have looked into fasting more lately because of the little bit of loose skin that I have from losing the weight so quickly.
That's not bad at all.
I've got a pretty
belly
belly on me, and I heard the autophagy from extended fasting can help with that a little bit. I have also looked into doing maybe some weightlifting stuff, maybe a little bit here and there, because I haven't done any of that. Believe it or not, I haven't been in the
like
gym.
You work out, Shawn. You look.
I have not been in the gym in 25 years or longer, since weightlifting in high school on the football team.
Yeah.
So you never, the whole time carnivore, you did not pick up any weights or did anything?
Not the first.
That's awesome.
One.
I love it.
I walk.
Right. Obviously, I heard that. Yeah. But considering your walking was to the mailbox, it was difficult, and then now obviously you can walk a lot more. So
I love that about Shawn, though. Like, I love that about your story, is that you are a walking example of 99% of the work is just eat the right food.
Eating the right food.
Period.
And listen to your body. He listened to his body when it was time to not eat,
Right.
So both of those together.
We need to stress that part, actually, because it is simple. Just eat meat, anything, like Shawn said, with a face, with a mama, eat it. Eat whatever you love. But the part that a lot of people kind of step over and not think is as important is the intuition, are you listening to your body?
Yes.
A lot of women, I've noticed, tend to fail at this a little bit sooner, because they start thinking, shoot, I'm eating way too much meat right now. I'm going to blow up if I keep eating like this. And they cancel everything. It's that fear in our minds. I'm sure a lot of men also struggle with this too. But Shawn, you did not gain any weight when you started carnivore, right?
It fluctuated, but I never gained.
Yeah.
I was so inflamed. Right. I thought it was insane. Like maybe 48 pounds is what I lost the first 30 days or something like that.
Wow.
I mean, it was something crazy. And after that, after a month, now, I mean, there were many weeks, like I actually have a charting where I charted, and it's got like a graph. I would just go on and enter when I would lose weight, like my weight, and it would chart it for me. And there were weeks where it would be flatlined, or it would go up a little bit and back down, but if you look at the overall picture, and I try to emphasize that too, if you looking at a short period of time, you can't see the change, you can't see the difference, but our perspective gets zeroed in on some little detail like the weight loss or whatever.
Right.
But if you look at the overall picture from point A to point B to my goal, it's like a straight line down.
Exactly.
So you have to step back and get your perspective. I've seen that in this community too, quite a bit, as people, they want to lose this weight, and they're not losing it at the rate or the speed or whatever that that they want, and it knocks them off the process. It's like, I never cared about how fast I was losing the weight.
Nice.
That was never my goal. My focus was what I could control, because even though I lost 269 pounds in a year, I had no control over that. I didn't hit a button or turn a dial, because it would have been like, all right, we lost 400 pounds. You know, I would have went to my goal weight in 35 minutes if I could control that. Right.
Right.
I had no
Exactly.
control over that. So I just focused on the one thing that I knew that I could control, and that's what's going in.
Absolutely. You did not get focused on all the biohacks. We can get our mind in so many different places, and like, oh, if I do an ice bath, or if I see this or see
Right.
that. I love your focus. You were just like, food heals, food first, listening to my body. It's that simple. And you didn't even have to force yourself to bring in extra exercise and injure yourself and cause more. I think those things cause detours. This actually kept you on the path towards healing.
Those options are high risk at the end of the day. What if you get injured? That could risk you taking 10 steps backwards.
Absolutely. And I guess this is kind of a crazy point to jump in and say this too, but like even this part of the experience is kind of surreal for me. Sitting here talking to you after watching you on videos and watching, like, I've talked with you, you know, I told my wife, I said, I'm talking with Bella and her group tonight. And like, you remember watching on, and my wife does carnivore too now since May the 1st, by the way. And I'm super proud of her.
Wow.
But you know, being able to communicate with you after watching those videos, and like Dr. Barry and Dr. Chafee, you know, he was on my show we do on Friday nights for a while.
Right.
And I'm like, that's part of the story that I like. When I start adding the stuff to the list, I get to add things like moments like this to the list.
Oh, you're so,
because it changed my life and all the work and stuff that I put in. But who knows who's going to see this sitting in the audience. And next year it's going to be them talking with you, and them talking with me.
That's right.
And them talking with Dr. Chafee, and them talking with Dr. Barry, and them starting their own YouTube channel. So the possibilities for you watching this are endless. Thank you. Thank you.
that's so cool.
I love how you said that.
Yeah.
Because, you know, that was the case with Lindy. Lindy was not ready to share herself at all to anybody. And she wasn't sure if she was. And obviously your story was what triggered her to say, okay, well, it's time for me to do it.
Yes.
So it's amazing. And what was your catalyst to say, okay, I'm ready to share my story. I'm ready to go out there.
I will be honest with you. So after I found Dr. Barry and got started, I stumbled into the Carnivore Quest community. Larry and Cassie Berquist, who have been doing for 2 years, they have the Facebook group Carnivore Quest community. And after I found Dr. Barry, I didn't even know Carnivore Quest as a channel was a thing on YouTube, but I heard Dr. Barry talking about community. And so I was on Facebook and started looking up Carnivore, you know, and that was the first thing that popped up. So I joined the group. And then once I got in there, it was like 200 or 300 people at the time, you know, it wasn't very big. Nice. I got to learning and talking and growing, and I became the first moderator last May, like a month after I started. They were like, and I think they were trying to just involve me in something, because they could definitely, and if you talk to Larry, which I talk to Larry every night now, from that time until this time, we have been like he's my brother from another mother, you know. But it wasn't in public. It was all behind the scenes, because he could see that I had been isolated for so long that I needed a friend. And he also benefited, I feel like, from our relationship, and we've grown together. So as far as my motivation for the YouTube, he was already doing YouTube experience with his channel, and him and Cassie trying to lose weight and fell off and came back. And I finally started watching that, and I was like, man, you know what? I should make a YouTube channel. And he's like, he would encourage me. He would say, all you got to do is try to film it. If you film it, I'll help you make the first one, or, you know, I'll give you the pointers on the first one. And I tried for like 6 months, and I'm like, I cannot talk to this stupid phone. I look like an idiot. I'm like, I feel like the most ridiculous like, who are you talking to? Like, you're talking to the phone and the computer. You sound dumb. Like, they're gonna be able to tell you're from the sticks of South Carolina, you know, but like, so I was like, it wasn't my thing, I guess you could say. But I did, as a moderator, I would encourage people, every single person. I told them, I said, you guys are going to be sick to death of me, because I found early on that the more I encouraged other people, the better I was feeling, because I was positive and I was encouraging. I wasn't captivated by the negativity. I wasn't encapsulated in that downward spiral. I'm going to be, the more positive and the more I show it, it's like the bigger it gets. And so by working with people like that and talking with people through that whole entire year, I was like, man, I can do this. I can do any freaking thing I'll need to do. I just got to get my mind around it. And so almost a year to the day, April the 10th is whenever I started the YouTube thing. And 100% is exactly like I try to talk about. I'm not the best editor by no means. I don't have you're not going to see the most amazing content on there, but what you're going to see is something that is practical, something that is real, something that is helpful. And if I don't have anything to say, you're not going to see a video from me, because I'm not wasting people's time. This is to help people. And I talk to people through emails and chats almost as much as I do videos. And that's where the bread and butter is, so to speak, for me. I can't tell you how many Zoom chats I've jumped on with folks, not because I'm a health coach. I don't give medical advice. I'm not qualified to be a doctor or anything like that. I just try to encourage people, tell them what I would do if it were me and what worked for me, or point them in the right direction.
You said something so beautiful. Your missing link was friendship. Okay. As a carnivore in the carnivore community, you leaned on encouraging others to feel the encouragement back. That is powerful. So good, because we also forget to say, you don't have to be alone in this carnivore journey. You don't have to just stop at watching carnivore YouTubers and that's it. That's the only, communication you get there. Believe it or not, all of these people on the video would be happy to talk to you. They would be so happy, so warm and welcoming if you just DM them. Like Shawn said, you take emails even, right? That's incredible. Join some groups. I will link Shawn's favorite groups. I will link Steak and Butter Gang down below.
Your motivation is based on your action. And so people can take this action, make these connections, and make carnivore the story in their life that they get so much victory from.
Absolutely.
Like you pointed out from what I was saying, that anything that makes you isolate is taking you the wrong direction. Community, we are not designed to do life alone. So like getting in community, even if you're not talking at first, you don't have to go in there and wax eloquently and, whatever. Just get in the group and read. Just get there, get in the group and you might see a tip. You might see the one little thing that changes your life. And that's what it's all about. And so that isolation was crazy, but get in the Steak and Butter Gang, get in the different Patreons. I love it. I try to be, in as much as I can. Absolutely. And like you said, DM one of us, let's chat, let's talk. We may not be able to get right back to you instantly, but I do respond to them and I do try to get back to you with an encouraging word best I can. And I know you guys do the same. And I appreciate that. And I appreciate you guys having me on and talking with me. I love putting my name with other people doing what you guys are doing. And I appreciate that too.
Let's celebrate Shawn. Yay. That was such a good one.
That was great.
So inspired. Amazing.
So loving and so generous. Thank you all so much for watching the video. Please go support Shawn White, Intentional Carnivore, on his platforms and in the Steak and Butter Gang. He will be visiting us in October in our upcoming Carnivore Challenge. So if you would like to ask him any personal questions, you will have plenty of chances to do so. In addition to Shawn, I'll also be bringing on Dr. Philip Boveda, Dr. Anthony Chafee, Dr. Tony Hampton, Rebecca Heischman, and Dr. Sean O'Mara. So if you're a fan of any of the beautiful faces that I'm showing on the screen right now, I would not miss out on my next Carnivore Challenge. For more details, just go to the URL shown on the screen, sbgmeetup.com, or click the links down below in the description box. One additional habit that I have really implemented in my daily routine to take care of my mental health and my stress levels is wearing blue blockers. So blue blockers really help protect my eyes from the strain that I usually get after a long day of being in front of my laptop. I rave about these blue blockers endlessly because I just love everything about it. The design, the way it sits, the protection that it gives my eyes. So as you can see, I have 3 different colors. They're so cute. They're all in the same design called Magnum. Yellow one is a medium protection. Red one right here is maximum protection. These clear ones I just wear throughout the day. Once it starts getting dark outside, I then switch to these yellow ones like late afternoon, early evening. Anytime I need to work or do meetings at night, I will always pop on these red ones for maximum protection. If you guys want to invest in a pair of high quality blue blockers like these, I will make sure to link these Magnum Design blue blockers down below from Bon Charge, as well as my discount code SBGAL. As always, I would love to know which carnivores, experts, or success stories you would like to see featured on my YouTube channel. So comment down below any requests for guests or just video topic ideas down below in the comments, and I will always take note. I hope you all have an amazing rest of your day. You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Twitter, Facebook, and in the Steak and Butter Gang. I will make sure to link all my socials down below. I'll see you in my next video. SVG out.